Welcome to Global Citizen Life podcast. Today on the show, we've Evgeniy. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting. Very happy to be here today.
So we've got quite a few things to unpack and talk about. So let's kind of jump back to your early years because you've been an expat twice now. You've living in now in your third country. And the first time you moved, you're around 11 years old. So what was that like as an 11-year-old to be moving to a new country? I'm assuming different language and everything that was involved with that.
First of all, as an 11 years old, you don't really make the decision, at least in my case.
Okay.
Well, we are moving. It's actually interesting because my parents didn't want to tell me we're moving until very, very late. And I was able to find myself in my bed table, the tickets. I'm like, hey, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's a ticket. They're like, oh, why? Then, okay, we need to explain to you, we are moving, XYZ. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I'm a curious person by nature. So for me, it was an adventure. It was very interesting. Okay, let's see. And then 11 years old, your mind is going to do and think about what kind of toys they have in the new country. Would I get a new bicycle? So completely different things. And when I moved the second time, we'll talk later, I was thinking about economic, money, car, friends. So I moved, and it was very interesting to me. Yes, the language was hard, but also my parents kind of put the seed of the idea in early age. The dynamic is okay, adaptation is okay, and in some strange keys, because I saw that it's very hard for my parents to adapt. Then if we, me and my sister, we're not going to be like a hard kids, tough kids, it's going to be easier for them. So I remember that we were not trying to be hard. We were trying to see how we can help. We understood it's a family move, not just they move because they wanted to move. So it's all shaped my mind. And I was trying to realize what I need to do to kind of grow up a bit faster and help them as well. So that is what I remember. I do also remember going to school, going to grade six. People didn't understand how I speak. I was having hard time to communicate, laughing, not accepting until you find a group of people that you like, going to accept you. It's whole process. 20 years later, I started to learn about psychology, about soft skills, about adaptation, and I realized, oh, okay, every change is going to be a dip. We're going to hate it, we're not going to like it, then we're going to absorb it, then we're going to find something else, and we're going to like it. So now I understand, okay, it's a change, it's a process, give it time, smile, wave, have a drink, everything's going to be okay. So was in kind of a very short idea about my first immigration.
And so, I mean, yeah, as you said, I mean, being 11, our thought process and patterns and what's important is different. And then you moved again in kind of your late 20s, and that was obviously the decision that you made
Yes.
to move again and to relocate. So did you already I'm assuming then you've already studied the psychology behind it. So have you already studied that, or were you just kind of going based on your first experience of moving abroad?
It was way different. So first of all, part of my family already moved to Canada. I was living by myself. I came to visit my sister. I was able to find work. Like, okay, my family is here, my sister is here. I was able to find work. There's some security. I don't need to be dependent on anybody else. I love the outdoor in Canada. It really, really was driving me to see and learn what's new. Curiosity was also part of this. So like, why not? Families here, interesting country, food is good, people are good, a lot of outdoor. Let's see what's happening. But again, it was conscious decision. I knew what I'm doing. I knew what's going to happen. The part having a job really, really helped. The part that you understand you're going to come and you're going to have some kind of financial freedom that you don't need to go and scramble definitely, definitely helped. And it also helped me to realize, okay, now I need to understand how much money I can do for saving, how much money I can do for pleasure, what's going to happen later on. So this part was completely, completely different because it was completely my decision with having a family support, with coming somewhere for a family dinner for the weekend, with coming somebody and ask a question. I still remember coming out in Toronto, and we spoke about Toronto before, that everything is east-west. So I'll come out of the subway, And I look around and I'll call my brother and I'm like, dude, I have no idea where I am, like where I'm going. There was still no kind of Google Maps, so still not fully there. Completely different experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it does help when we have that initial support system when we are moving. Who was the first one of your family to move to Canada?
So my sister actually moved first. She moved to a boyfriend that she used to learn together in high school that separated for 10 years and then some kind of got together. So she moved first. She moved my parents later on. And I came to visit when she had her first daughter. I'm like, okay, interesting country. And we found the work. So this was kind of a combination.
Mm. Excellent. Yeah, it is definitely helpful because countries do things differently
Yeah.
and the languages are different too. So that's adds more to the struggle. And so through that, you've also studied psychology. Is that right?
No, psychology was just a hobby. My main work was actually cybersecurity. So
Cybersecurity.
cybersecurity is my main work, but psychology was just a hobby to understand how people communicate, how people talk, and it's actually translated to later on to me writing a book and doing my lot of consulting work. But my main work being cybersecurity for the last 20 years.
And so I kind of want to touch on both of those because
Yes.
it's really important to understand psychology. I mean, not only just in business, but in just thinking of if we're moving abroad and the things that we go through, that there's the psychology kind of behind that, but also cybersecurity too, because as we move abroad, a lot of people, and especially now where they do not even moving abroad, but are working online. Our
Yep.
work is online, our banking is online, we're having meetings online, we're trying to get clients online. And so they kind of both go together because we want to make sure that, you know, we're not having identity theft and our things are being hacked and everything like that. Like there are those concerns because we can't always just count on a bank, you know, like I do a lot of online banking because I move around a lot and I'm super dependent on the banks making sure everything's secure. And of course, they're very good. But same with Zoom. I'm on Zoom a lot. Or when we're selling things, like we're really dependent on what the software and companies that we're using is doing. But what are some things that we can do ourselves to also help protect ourselves kind of in that online world that maybe people don't really think about?
You bring a lot of very good points. We cannot really change the security of the bank. We cannot really change the security of the Zoom. We cannot really change how Google or Microsoft are going to secure ourselves. But we have our own choices. So let's do an analogy about the house. You get the house and it has a door. So you cannot change the door. Maybe you can go and buy a new door, but you are the ones going to be locking the door, not the manufacturing of the door. You're the ones that are going to be locking the windows. You're the ones that will be locking the fences. You're the ones going to be turning on the camera and make sure it's working. You're the ones that are going to be checking that the camera is working and actually alerting if something happened. And if you're coming back to cyber, let's give some examples. Let's say you're doing majority of your work on Zoom. Doesn't matter what you do. You're a lawyer, you're a psychologist, you're a coach, and you record the sessions with your customer. Why? Because you want to provide the recording back to your customer. Where is these recordings going to be? Are you saving them on your laptop? Are you saving them in a cloud? Are you going to saving them in Zoom, for example? So now you want to think, if I'm saving them in several places, who has access? So very simple. Let's assume you're recording this on your laptop. You finish the day, all the records on your laptop, you putting them in a folder and you share them with your customer. Many people will go to Dropbox, Google, whatever the systems you're using, click share, says anyone acceptable, and give the link to somebody else using WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying you want to think about it twice. Because now everyone with this link have access to this file. And I don't know what you guys spoke about this. So if this file by mistake lands somewhere else, link, not a file, everybody can download this. My suggestion here, if you didn't talk about candies, ice cream, or which movie you watched yesterday, and there's a bit more private information and propriety, don't just share it with anyone. only share with the email of the other person you are talking to. They will still able to access because they have the email, but only then. And what's happening with time, we accumulate these links of shared information online with many different people that we don't know, to the point we're not going to remember what we share. And this could be happening with the pictures. Let's say you have a picture that maybe not everybody will need to see from a party, embarrassing picture, or maybe something more private. Same idea. Be careful who you're sharing this. So the entire idea of sharing documents become quite important because it's a click, 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 and then we're done. It sounds very easy, and it takes another minute to maybe put somebody email, or maybe share the document, but only share it for a day or two, or put a password protected document. Especially talking about professionals. If you're sharing lawyers, if you're a lawyer sharing documents that are could be very important for M&As or anything else, you want to figure out how you protect these documents. So this is about protection. You brought a point about banking. Interestingly enough, we're recording this in October. I'm not sure when it's going to be released, but October is a cybersecurity awareness month. This is where we share tips about cybersecurity awareness. And you may heard about this before, but whatever you can put online that has two-factor or multi-factor authentication, you definitely want to do this. It's mean it's not just your password. It's going to be a text message, some kind of authenticator, or something else. So definitely put the effort to do this. Facebook, LinkedIn, banks, and please, please, please don't put the same passwords in your banking information and somewhere else. There's even another step that some people are doing that I think is very interesting as well and good. When you go to a bank, create an email that's going to be only for the bank. It's a bit different idea. So if you get a spam on your regular email, you know it cannot be. But if you use a special email to a bank or somewhere else, and you understand it's only happening there. I'm not saying don't have like 20,000 emails, but depend what's important or what's happening with what's going on. If you travel a lot, think about credit cards. So what I do for myself, for example, I have several credit cards, and some of them has a very small limit. And this is the one that I put online everywhere. Because even or when, honestly enough, somebody gonna steal them somehow, there's gonna be only limit amount of things they can buy, maybe $500. And gonna be honestly enough for a day by day, monthly stuff, subscriptions, and all the things to do. So this way, you're protecting yourself with online purchasing. And if you buy tickets on a plane, hotel, car, then maybe you're going to use the other credit card. But there's a way to at least limit the risk, limit the liability, what you can do. So we spoke about passwords, we spoke about multi-factor authentication, we spoke about shared documents. One important part is don't forget to educate your spouses and your kids as well, because our kids, maybe us as well, play games online. We can communicate online. People asking for some stuff, people pretend they're somebody else. We need to educate and explain. And just remind me that in many cases, somebody can start a Facebook profile with the same name as our friend and reach to say, oh, I forgot my password on my Facebook, it's a new account. But it's not us, it's somebody else as well. And if you're gonna go even deeper on this Pandora box, unfortunately, we now have deep fake. So somebody can clone our voice. Somebody can say it's us. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's reality that may happen. So what I'm
It's awareness.
suggesting, yes,
Mhm.
suggesting to do is start developing some key phrases with your loved ones and the close ones that you will know if this is you calling or somebody else calling. And this could be almost like a, if I'm asking you for something, you need to tell my last name, my first name, or something that's very, very important or very, very private that people will not know. You may never use this. You may never need this, but it may take 5 minutes to agree this with your spouse, to agree this with your parents. Our parents and the older people are unfortunately like to believe much faster when they need help to fix their TV, to fix their internet, whatever it is. So here's some of the small tips I can suggest. We can definitely talk much longer about other things, like if you on a video call, and I suggest to be in a video call, we talk with your customers, see what you have around yourself. No, don't have paperwork and passwords and documents lying around as well.
No, those are definitely very good tips. And unfortunately, with a lot of it, it's almost like having, the way that I see it, is insurance, right? Hopefully you never have to use it, but if something happens, or in a lot of cases, it's more of when,
Yes.
especially with just the sophistication of how things are going. And one thing that I've always said to people that I thought was, you know, something that they should never do is when, you get those security questions. And one of the security questions would have been like, what's your mother's maiden name? And I was always like, that's a weird one, because we can go through, if they go through and they can see who you're, if on Facebook, for example, you tag people that's brother, sister, whatever, like you can figure out somebody's maiden name. And so that's never really, in my opinion, it's never been a good security question, because it's not that hard to find out. And so we really need to think about, even with those security questions, think, oh, it's going to be great, but then it's, well, if everybody knows, it's a common question, like, what's your favorite pizza topping? It's like, well, a lot of people would know my favorite, or you could try once or twice and kind of figure it out. So definitely to be careful with a lot of those things. And so, aside from that, let's kind of now kind of switch a little bit and talk about your book that you wrote, because that's another part of moving abroad, architecting success.
So the book is about soft skills, and even so, the book is mainly aimed for salespeople. I believe we're all selling in one way or another. Which pizza topic we're going to have today? Which movie we're going to look? Who is doing the dishes? Where are we going to go for vacation? So there's a lot of communication done. And unfortunately, on the reality, majority of our communication now switched to Zoom, Teams, and Google. And we lost this private space when we're talking to someone without distraction. I have four screens. So every time I'm talking to someone, I may have something else going on, or you may have several screens, or your customer may have several screens. So if you want to get their attention, we need to learn how to connect with them faster. We need to learn how to communicate with them better, what type of questions to ask to keep them engaged. And we also need to learn the etiquette of being on video. So, example, if I'm talking to you right now, I still see you, but now you see half of my face because I have two screens. I use a teleprompter, by the way. This way I can have the eye contact. Or if I'm in a frame, I may go out of the frame to write a note, but you don't really know. Maybe I'm eating pizza on a side or I'm writing notes. And there is a lot of parts going as part of communication, especially online, when we lose this momentum. Because when I'm trying to explain to you something and I want to sell to you my services, for example, if I don't understand how you consume information, I may just going to have one way to do it. Here is my presentation. Here is my project. Instead of understanding how you consume information, are you more audio person, video person? So there's
Mhm.
many, many tidbits that are related to soft skills to the point of fear. If I'm afraid to do XYZ, I tell you, ooh, you need to jump on this call and make a very important presentation because our entire quarter is reliable on this deal. You're going to be shaking. You will know what to do.
Right.
Do you have the information? Do you have the ability to overcome and work with this fear? I kind of joke around that fear is good. No, not joking. I think fear is good because if you see a kitty cat on the street, it's probably all good. If you see a lion on the street, you want to run away. And if you don't have the fear when you see the lion, there's probably something wrong with you. So if you know that you're going to be afraid or you know you're going to be under stress, it's actually part of the solution. When we know and understand we have a problem, it's become part of the solution to the problem. So if I know I'm stressed before an important presentation or important customer meeting, I can now do something about it. I may do workouts, maybe do breathing exercise. I may learn how to slow down my heart rate, but I can get myself to a zone, to a flow state that will help me to overcome what I have. But in the same time, I already know that if I'm afraid or excited, and I can connect afraid to excited, it's meaning something new. It's a bigger one. I did probably 40 podcasts for the last 2 months. I'm used to do it, but if you tell me, Evgeny, tomorrow you're gonna go to some kind of big podcast, I'm probably gonna be scared. No, Joe Rogan, I probably will be very excited and very scared at the same time.
Right. Absolutely. And I've also heard too that, there's very little difference in a way between fear and excitement. And because fear is just we're worried that there's going to be a negative outcome, and excitement is we're expecting a positive outcome. And
Right.
really that's like the only difference. So when I heard that, I thought that's really interesting that when we get scared, we're just that fear is expecting something negative, but when we're excited, that like the body's kind of still feeling the same things, and the same things are going on, except for we have an expectation of a good outcome.
So if we learn physics in school and we can believe on conversation of energy, then we can say, okay, I believe in physics. Let's take the fear and convert it to excitement. And here we go.
Definitely. And so those skills also relate, as we spoke earlier, with work, connecting with people, all of that, but they also as well when moving abroad, or those considerations abroad, going through that process as well of, okay, I'm going to move abroad. Some people are like, well, I'm scared. What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't know anybody? What if, all those kind of negative things? But we can kind of be excited too, because then we think like, what if it's amazing and it's great and I meet fabulous people and I have a better lifestyle. And so it's interesting that, um, I understand the brain is there to keep us safe, and that's kind of its job. Sometimes it can prevent us from doing really wonderful things.
On top of this, me as a second time immigrant, I used to speak very fast. Cannot say I have a perfect English. Used to mumble quite a lot. Used to have a sweaty hands before I need to present or talk to customers. When we're going to be in a group and everybody need to present themselves, I will reverse in my head what they're going to say. They're going to go nuts. And it's all part of this. Okay, I'm different than everybody else here, and I'm trying to adapt. And it's a part of soft skills. Learn to accept who you are, learn to work with yourself, learn to understand that you can slow down, you can modify your voice, you can record yourself on the phone, you can understand using AI to see how you talk, how you communicate. You can maybe not remove filler words, but you can replace filler words with pauses. So you're going to be sounds much more intelligent, sounds more nicer. Maybe you can go and do some voice training to learn what's missing in your voice. Same idea. People are going to go and fix the back because they have a back problem. Not many people are going to go and try to analyze their voice and learn about their voice. So I did all this because I realized it's a part of me, not exactly changing who I am, but adapting to who I am with some of the small adaptations as well. So I learned completely to accept I have an accent. Don't care. It's my accent. It's me. It's part of me. And you're
Mhm.
going to move to a different country. You're going to remain your accent. You're going to have your accent with whatever language you're going to speak. If it's a Spanish, if it's an English, whatever it is, it's fine. I don't think it's a problem. Now, I'm not trying to convince you. You need to decide by yourself what's fine for you and how you like yourself. And it's going to be a process to start. And many people ask, oh, okay, so what's the most important part in soft skills? I'm like, wait a second. We're all different. But if you really want to know, curiosity is going to be one of the first one to actually understand what's missing. Vulnerability is going to be also very important because while we say soft skills are soft, they're not so soft. You have to get out of your comfort zone to do something you're not used to. And then later on, it's going to be dependent on who you are. If you create like an assessment of yourself,
Mm.
if you ask your friends, depend which friends, not the friends that say yes for everything, maybe the friends that will actually help you to understand what's happening, you may understand which one you want to work on first. I kind of tell people the parts you don't want to do is maybe the parts you need to start working on yourself in many, many cases. And then the next part, find somebody like accountability partner, somebody that you'll basically tell every day, I'm doing exercise. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to score you. But at least you can tell them, I did my part. I did that. I did that. I did a new speech. I went to Toastmasters. I presented to someone. I analyzed my voice. I talk to the cashier in a supermarket and make them smile. There's a lot of small, small parts we can do.
And I think too, a lot of times people get overwhelmed a bit because they look at the big picture and they think, I have to do all of these things. And really we don't. It's step by step. It's like learning a new language.
If you see on the book, there's blocks here.
Blocks. Hmm.
This why there's blocks, because it's a building block. It's small, small parts that build you as a better human being.
Right. And we think about that too. I mean, we didn't know how to walk when we were born. It took time. We fell down many times. Same with riding a bike or people who've learned to ice skate or snowboard. I tried a few times. I'm terrible at it. I don't like winter sports. And I'm okay with that. So it's not a priority to me. Right. And I said that we need to think about what is important for us because we are all individuals and it's not what other people say. What I always say to people too, and I've heard it somewhere as well, that if you're getting advice from somebody, take advice from somebody who's living the life you want to live. Because if you're taking advice from people that are around you, they're not, and you're looking to improve and change your life, it's not going to change because they're comfortable and happy where they're at. Right. And so if I want to take advice from my brother, I have to look at my brother's lifestyle because all of his decisions that he's made has given him that life that he wants and has. And so if I want that life, then great, I could listen to his advice. But if it's not the lifestyle that I want, it doesn't make sense for me to listen to his advice because that advice would give me that lifestyle. And so I do think, as you said, it's important as who we ask and to have true friends. And true friends tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. Because sometimes it is, we need some hard truths, and that's what we need, which also includes what you said too. What we want to resist the most is what we should be doing. And I heard that on a podcast about a year ago. I can't remember what podcast it was, but he was saying that if you want to improve and you want changes, the biggest change that you're going to make is what you're resisting the most. Whatever, and I can't remember how he said it, but if you do what you resist the most, that's what's going to get you the fastest and quickest change that to get you to what you want.
One part I want to add to what you're saying, and I agree with everything you're saying, is if you're really concerned about your performance in whatever the speaking communication, the thing that helped me and maybe help you as well is try to pretend you're talking about the most precious things you do right now. Could be your kid, could be your favorite car or vacation. But when you describing your process, when you talking to a customer, when you're trying to influence something in your mind, have this internal smile and be connected to what you're saying and put as much as passion as you can. I still remember I went to Florida, to Orlando one time, and we needed to present to a very, very big company. We had no idea who was going to be there. We come into a room, there was 15 people. And I realized I have no idea what they do. I have no idea how seniors they are. And I needed to talk for 40 minutes. So I decided to myself, I'm going to pretend this is the biggest presentation in my life. And I'll put as much as excitement and energy about what's happening. In the end, the feedback I got, like, your English wasn't really perfect. We didn't really understood everything you told us, but your energy and your body language show to us that what you're saying, you truly believe in this. And because you truly believe in this, it makes us feel we're not gonna sell us something not gonna work.
Right. It's that excitement and passion and it gives off energy and people feed off energy. And I mean, it's you're never gonna do better work. Like what was it? So I was on a listening through a course just not that long ago, and they said, you need to whatever you're doing, you need to be passionate about. Because if you're not passionate and you're just doing something for money, yeah, you might make a bit of money for a while, but somebody who's passionate is gonna beat you. Like whether it's financially, the long term, everything. Because when you're passionate, you're more willing to do stuff. You spend more time doing it and you love it and enjoy it, not, oh, now I have to do this because I need to make X amount of money.
Don't remember if in a big which book it was. I think it's about flow. The guy passed away, unfortunately. Chihai, I forgot his name, very, very complicated name. Mihai Chance Mihai, something like that. But he was describing what's play me, and it really resonated to me. Play is an activity you're doing for the sake of the activity and not to gain anything else.
Right.
So if you enjoy your work, if you enjoy what you do, and you're doing this because you like it to do, somehow something will align, stars,
Mhm.
terminators, AIs, and will help you to do what needs to be done.
Yeah, I think we really need to be enjoying what we're doing. I say often, if you're not enjoying life, and let's say you live to 100 years old and you're not enjoying it, it's a really long struggle, tough life. But if you're doing what you love to do and you're enjoying it, 100 years will go by so fast. And so which would you prefer? Do you wanna have it struggle and be long and hard or enjoy? Now, obviously, we all go through stuff and those things, those I think those challenges make us stronger. They build a lot for us and everybody goes through stuff, but it's how we respond to that. And I always try to find silver linings. And like this year for me, absolutely nothing has gone as planned this year. Not one single thing at all. And I'm just like, okay, well, just keep going, find the silver linings. I'm always looking, oh, well, that happened. Yeah, but because of that, then this, and oh yeah, but then, and it's finding those silver linings and looking for the good things. So I think that's
Yes,
really important.
100%. It's funny now because we're talking about the challenges. My son started to say, whatever doesn't kill you, make you stronger. Beside
Hmm.
bears will kill you. Canada,
Canada, yes, yes. There's you got to be careful of those bears. Absolutely. And so if people wanted to get in touch with you, where can they do that? Where can they get your book? Is it available online?
Yes. So find me. I'm relatively available on LinkedIn. I spend majority of my time on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, just Evgeniy Kharam, Evgeniy, last name Kharam, Kharam. Not too many Evgenys, so you're able to find me. The book is available on all the Amazons. You can type my name again, not too many Evgenys, you're able to find the book. There's also a website for the book, softskillstech.ca and softskillstech.com, with the blog about the book, and you can get from there as well. I also working on a training, video training for the book as well. Happy to connect, happy to help if I need to help, and thank you for being here.
And we'll make sure to put links in all the show notes to make it easy for everybody to connect and get in touch with you through those links. So thank you very much, Evgenie. I really appreciate your time. I know people got a lot of valuable information, some great tips, and hopefully they'll be in touch with you.